Welcome back to the Vibrational Stage Podcast. Today we begin with a simple observation. Many people are exhausted, not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, not because they're incapable. They are exhausted because they never feel finished. There's always one more email, one more project, one more responsibility, one more bill, one more thing to fix, one more thing to improve, one more thing to worry about. And somewhere along the way, many people stopped noticing that they were carrying an invisible assumption. I will finally be okay when everything is done. The problem is that life doesn't work that way. Life is not a project that gets completed. Life is not a checklist. Life is not an assignment with a final due date where someone else hands you a certificate and says, "Congratulations, you're finished." Instead, life moves in cycles. Breathing is never finished. Learning is never finished. Relationships are never finished. Growth is never finished. Living itself is never finished. Yet modern culture trains us to approach life as though completion is always just around the corner. Finish school, finish training, finish the project, finish paying off debt, finish fixing yourself, finish becoming who you are supposed to be. And because the finish line keeps moving, many people spend their entire lives chasing an experience that never arrives. The experience of finally being done. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you reached a goal only to immediately replace it with another one? How many times have you solved one problem only to discover three more waiting behind it? How many times have you finally achieved something important and barely paused long enough to celebrate it before moving on? The nervous system becomes conditioned to scan for incompletion. It becomes conditioned to search for what remains unfinished. And eventually, even when things are going well, the mind continues looking for the next problem, the next threat, the next responsibility, the next unfinished thing. This is not a character flaw, it is conditioning. And once you begin to see it, something important happens. You realize that perhaps your exhaustion is not coming from the amount of work you do. Perhaps it's coming from carrying the impossible expectation that one day there will be no work left to do. There's a profound freedom in recognizing that life was never designed to be completed. It was designed to be lived. When we stop demanding completion from life, we begin making space for appreciation. We begin making space for presence. We begin making space for enoughness. Not because everything is finished, but because we stop postponing our peace until it is. Today, I invite you to notice something. Look around your life. Notice the things that remain unfinished. Then ask yourself, what if they are not evidence that I'm failing? What if they are simply evidence that I'm alive? Because living things are always unfolding, always growing, always evolving. And perhaps peace begins the moment we stop demanding that life becomes something that it never was meant to be, a completed project. Instead, we allow it to become what it has always been, a living experience. One breath, one moment, one day at a time. Closing reflection. What if your life doesn't need to be completed before it can be appreciated? To continue exploring these ideas, visit the VybeShift blog. Follow the link and I'll see you there.